Imagine, a brilliant student who outshines his peers snags the first rank in metallurgy awarded by the President of India in 1978.
Picture the same person enjoying a lucrative career in the US, only to leave it all behind at the request of the late Prime Minister Vajpayee ji, venturing back home to start a metal forging company. Then picture a series of ups and downs, a crippling strike, the looming threat of bankruptcy, and a miraculous rebound from negative 20 crores to build a company worth over 250 crores. Meet Pradeep Goyal, a man with 8 published papers, 6 patents to his name, and a life story that's nothing short of a roller coaster. Pradeep set his sights on IIT, the prime institute at that time. And when time came to choose, his father Ved Prakash Goyle nudged him out of his comfort zone, pushing him into IIT Kanpur.
His education in metallurgy took him to America, a dream held by many IIT engineers.
While Pradeep received scholarships from several prestigious universities, but his father had a particular institution in mind, MIT.
The environment at MIT was just unbelievable because where my office was as a graduate student, around me were Nobel laureates. But the learning was just outstanding.
But his journey to land a job was filled with hurdles.
I had applied to many companies, 100 companies, didn't get any response. It was all the issue of green card. If you don't have a green card, you don't get a job.
Despite the odds, he finally received an offer.
But it was not in the field of metallurgy. It was in a field of making gases. And with that, I traveled for 3 years across the length and breadth of US, Canada, Mexico, to try and sell industrial gases.
Pradeep's life took a dramatic turn in 1982. During a meeting with family friend Vajpayee ji, the former Prime Minister of India, when he posed a challenging question.
He says, "Who paid for your education?" I said, my father paid. I was in a very naive manner, So my father paid for it. He laughed. He said, "Are you joking? You paid 100 rupees a month for IIT education. You think that's what it costs?" It was 100% subsidized by the government of India. So I asked my father and he said, "Of course, if Vajpayee ji is asking you to do that, then it must be the right thing."
Pradeep decided to resign from his flourishing career in the US and return to India. On his return to India, Pradeep and his father faced the challenge of starting anew.
I asked my father, "What are we going to do?" So he said, "Look, we know steel."
Despite the lack of resources, Pradeep's father had one thing in abundance: confidence in his sons. With the intention to start a forging business, Pradeep, his father, and his brother Piyush ventured into the unknown. However, a year into the business, their lead worker decided to quit. The worker, without a formal resignation, claimed he was fired, leading to union-led protests. Dejected, Pradeep returned to the US, looking for opportunities and also seeking potential customers. Back in India, after months of protest and a dwindling financial situation, the workers returned, remorseful and willing to reconcile. When Pradeep returned to India, he reignited the business with a newfound vigor. Despite the challenges, he saw a bigger opportunity: exporting. Pradeep's company became one of the earliest Indian businesses to export stainless steel flanges. But soon, they faced a new challenge: capacity. By 1990-91, the company had outgrown its current setup. As India underwent liberalization in the early 90s, the market conditions were ripe for their IPO. The proceeds would be used to establish a new plant. The search for a new location led them to Navi Mumbai MIDC, an area thought to be the place of the future. Pradeep's company ventured into the automotive industry. But this path was far from smooth. Caught in a severe economic downturn, the company found itself on shaky grounds. High interest rates, soaring raw material costs, and strained customer relationships plagued them. In this 5-year period, their financial health took a nosedive. The company became a negative net worth, teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. Despite the dire circumstances, he refused to give up. He took on the challenge of reworking their business model.
I said, what are my costs? If I have to pay 19% interest, I have to have 10% profit and all those things. Then my raw material cost cannot be more than 50% of my selling price. Just broad numbers.
Correct.
So I looked at all the components that I was manufacturing. And anywhere the raw material cost was more than 50%, I said, "Bahar karo."
It was a bold move. They had to let go of a chunk of their workforce. But this decision allowed the company to stabilize and eventually start making profits. In 2005, a significant turning point arrived for Pradeep's company. A major customer, Emerson, delivered a blunt message.
A couple of their directors came here and said, "Mr. Goyle, we love you, but we don't like your company." What happened? He said, "You never supply on time. Our expert on lean management will come here for 1 week, but you have to listen to him."
This marked the beginning of a transformation. Soon after, the company was recognized by Emerson for being the most transformed company. As the relationship with Emerson strengthened, the conditions became more stringent.
We've started 4 or 5 warehouses in different parts of the world, so that from there we can ship very quickly. Today also, we are 98% on time. So we had to look for some company to invest. So we did that in 2014-15 timeframe.
They made a strategic move to invest $2 million for 50% stake in the company. But in 2015, a sudden drop in oil prices shook their new business, causing major financial strain.
The oil price went from 130 to 30. So whatever investment we had made in US just died, plummeted. I was very open-minded with both my sons. I said, "You do what comes. Don't think Pradeep Metals is your baby to handle."
His journey isn't just about building a successful business. It's also about giving back to society.
So my father charted out a social work for me.
He committed himself to educational initiatives, specifically the Ekal Vidyalaya Foundation.
We are running tribal schools in the tribal areas in the country. We almost came up to 100,000 tribal schools.
When GST was introduced in India, many small businesses were left uncertain and anxious. His company took up the responsibility to set up the GST systems for them, ensuring that all his vendors were GST compliant.
We keep on bringing sessions to them here. Okay, how do you improve yourself? हम लोग जो internal improvements करते हैं, we call them here and teach them those improvements.
His effort in supporting his vendors goes to show that business is not just about profits. It's about people, partnerships, and progress.
So in 2015, I put up a windmill. I spent 14 crores in that. Then while we were shifting all these things, we took a call that we'll remove all the asbestos sheets from the roof and put steel sheets.
They upgraded to hydraulic machines which saved 5,000 units of energy per day and replaced all halogen lamps with LEDs.
I put a 3 megawatt solar. It's coming up in June. So fully green energy.
Pradeep Goyal's journey in business teaches us many important lessons. Mr. Goyle, a proud patriot, gave up a profitable career in America to follow his entrepreneurial spirit. He listened to the valuable advice, especially from his father, which helped him make tough decisions and overcome challenges. He cared for all stakeholders and made smart decisions to ensure his company's future. His commitment to sustainability, balancing environmental care with business, shows us how to create a long-lasting success story. His story is a lesson in determination, strategic thinking, and care for the greater good. It's more than just about winning today. It's about making a difference that lasts.